the rumble. Welcome to Jaw Jacking with Bob and TC on IntellectualRadio.com. Again, that's IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host, B.O.B. Bob, but I will go by the name of Robert Lee or Jr. if you insist on being formal. And as always, from the South Side of Chicago, Illinois, give it up for my main man, yes, Mark TC was Senior. What's up, TC? Man, you got our mics loud, man. I ain't never been this loud in my life, man. I like this right here. Loud. What's going on? How everybody in listening land doing?
Yeah, what's up, y'all?
Welcome to Jaw Jacking with Bob and TC on IntellectualRadio.com, iHeartRadio station. And first of all, I want you to plug your club real quick first.
Oh, yeah. What up, y'all? Y'all want to have a good little time? Come on now, especially tonight, man. Come on, have a drink with your boy at Over 30 Crowd Lounge, 19755 South Torrance in Linwood, Illinois. Come kick it.
Also on Tuesday nights, I have a program in Living Springs Church out in Glenwood. It's called Basketball and Beyond on Tuesday nights from 5 o'clock to 8:30. So if you have kids from 5th grade through 12th grade, make sure you bring them on out there so they can participate in the program. We have a half an hour discussion. So if people want to volunteer as mentors, feel free to contact me. So on Facebook or through my email, robertor80@yahoo.com. And we'll plug you in. The program ends at the end of May. So we got a few months left for this season of Basketball and Beyond. Again, the call-in number is 708-223-8953. So if you have any comments on today's conversation, feel free to call in. Again, the call-in number is 708-223-8953. And if you got any show ideas that you feel as though you got an idea that will be a great show, make sure you call that number and you talk to Mr. Earl Winfrey, the other Winfrey. That's the other Winfrey, the one that ain't got Oprah money.
What up, Tamika versus Mika Jackson, Milwaukee? What up, cousin? I had to give her a little plug. She throw me a little kissy back at your cousin. Love you. My family, Milwaukee. What's up, y'all?
Okay, real quick though. I just want to make mention of this. Since I got a son in the Air Force, I want to make mention of this. I don't want to make this a whole part of my conversation today, but I want to bring up Syria, the bombing that happened in Syria, to those innocent people who got hit with the nerve gas in Syria. Our condolences go out to those families in those situations. It's made mention because it's Americans' involvement. We made a decision to do some airstrikes in a Syrian base after that. So, and my son is in the Air Force, so I'm always mindful of that. I don't want to spend too much time consumed on that because what's on my mind today is Chicago, what's within our borders. But I did want to make mention of that because I got a bunch of mixed messages that came from the motive and the timing of the response to that. It seems like our president is sort of unpopular right now, and also the ties with Russia. It just feel like it's a political ploy. I don't feel as though it was a genuine act of humanity. Regardless of what my opinion is on it, I'm just saying I think the response and the timing of it is questionable based on the unpopularity of this president and and what they're trying to establish with Russia. I don't know if you had any take on that real quick.
I mean, when I heard about what happened, I looked into it to see what was going on. And basically, if I'm not, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Obama had a little sanction or something against them too about that they better not do it again, or if they use that, what he might do. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I didn't want to dive into it too much. I just want to give condolences to those situations. But it was a video that I watched, and I told you about the video. It was Willie D from Ghetto Boys. He made a video, and he was blasting Chicago. And he blasted Chicago on this 16-minute video. And he was blasting Chicago after this girl had got sexually assaulted on Facebook Live. And he was so adamant about going in on the men of Chicago. The question was like, where in the hell is the men in Chicago? That was his comment, like, where is the men? He's like, man, y'all dudes, Chicago is like the laughing stock of the nation right now. And he was just so adamant. I honestly reached out to Willie D, to be honest with you, on Facebook, on his page. I reached out to him, invited him either to call in or come on the show. to have that discussion. Hey, it is what it is. We all in this world together. So, it's nothing to reach out to him, because I wanted to talk about the comment he made about where are the men in Chicago. Today we have Eric Mobley from New Era Chicago
in the building.
So to the response to what Willie D said, I want to introduce him to Eric Mobley. I want to introduce him to somebody who is one of those men that is sacrificing everything he has to make sure that the people of Chicago are edified, loved, understood, supported through Black love, Black unity, Black pride. Regardless of what your opinion is on the subject, it's not about that today. It's about highlighting what New Era Chicago is all about, what New Era Chicago is out here sacrificing, putting their life on the line about. So you would have to be somewhere under a rock not to have some type of sympathy, empathy, whatever. I always get those.
Some kind of emotion.
Emotion in
it's real life.
Call of Duty. The word is the call of duty. So on the other side of this break, we're going to bring in Eric Mobley. We don't want to waste his time. We just want to do our quick setup real quick. The call-in number is 773-223-8953. On the other side of this break, you'll be back, and we're going to be introducing Mr. Eric Mobley, and we're just going to dive into this conversation. All opinions are welcome.
Oh, yeah, call in 708-223-8953. Go Cubs, go.
Welcome back to Joe Jackin with Bob and TC on IntellectualRadio.com, an iHeart radio station. Again, I want to throw out the call-in number. The call-in number is 708-223-8953. We got our guest, Eric Mobley, in the building. What's going on, man? What's good, man? Welcome back to the show, man.
Thank you for having me, bro. Good to be back.
Man, last time we came, we did a rundown about what New Era Chicago was about, but this time it brought us back under a little different type of circumstances. Now I know we've been talking, we can't really go all the way into the whole situation, but I think it was last Saturday.
Yeah.
Last Saturday you had a demonstration. New Era Chicago. I want to first of all define the difference between a protest and a demonstration. Protests are ineffective.
Absolutely.
Protesters is just a bunch of people out there talking about what they talking about.
Speak, bro.
New Era Chicago are demonstrators. Demonstrators meaning that they are actually providing food, clothing. They're actually cleaning up the neighborhood. They're actually putting their hands on something. There's a big difference. So I want you to talk about New Era Chicago and however you want to describe it from the standpoint of the demonstration, the action part of what New Era Chicago is all about.
Okay. Well, first, thank you for having me back, bro. I appreciate
that.
I appreciate you distinguishing, what a protest is between a demonstration. And that's one of the things that we have to clear up. New Era Chicago never protests. Nothing. We don't protest murder. We don't protest black on black crime. We don't protest any issue that we're faced with. We demonstrate. Everything we do is a demonstration of Black love, Black unity, and Black power. Whether it's mentoring children, cleaning up the community, patrolling our community, that is a demonstration of Black love, Black unity, and Black power. Nothing we do is ever a protest, and I want the community to understand that. Like you said it all, bro. Protests are ineffective. You know, I'm not with petitioning or asking anybody for anything. Power don't move that way. Power does not petition. Power moves. You know what I'm saying? And our communities have grown so comfortable in making a lot of noise and coming up with, you know, clever phrases and sayings and hoping that it's going to yield somebody's sympathy. Nobody has nothing for you. Nobody owes you more than you owe yourself. So it would be in your own self-interest to take hold of your own situation and let's come together and solve our own problems. You know what I'm saying?
This one thing I respect about New Era Chicago, and this is a personal opinion, so to speak. You know, I know everybody got in general talk points that they do. Mm-hmm. A personal opinion. When you look at the Black community, I want to take white people out of it completely, because what I see in New Era Chicago, I see them taking the white people out of what needs to be done. Absolutely. So when you start off of love and unity, one of the things that I could honestly say, when you think about what should happen in the Black community, what should be done in the Black community, what should be doing this, New Era Chicago says, well, we got an idea. Let's get out here and let's go out and knock on some doors. Let's go out here and pick up this trash in the community. You would think that the police officers would listen to that message of what they're saying. You would think that they would hear that and they would say, if anything, any type of violation that could occur, they would say, hey man, you know what, y'all, I see what y'all doing. Y'all shouldn't do that because y'all may not know that that's a violation, but we support what y'all doing, man. We support what y'all doing because y'all are unifying, y'all are lifting up a community in a way that nobody else is willing to stand down the barrel of that shotgun.
Well, you would think, right? Yeah. If you, let me say this first of all. Let me speak to the point you talk about removing white people from the equation.
Right.
Man, this is not a problem that white people, the government, your mayors, nobody can solve for you. The well-being of the Black community is the responsibility of the Black community, period. Nobody owes you more than you owe yourself. It's time to stop whining about I don't give a damn about slavery. Not in the sense of, I mean, I have the empathy and and I hate that it happened to my ancestors, but it's not a subject that I can dwell on if I plan on fixing anything. You know what I'm saying? The idea that somebody owes you something. Listen, I look at it like this. Our ancestors, they lost a battle. They lost. They were conquered. It's time to get over it. What are we going to do now? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What are we going to do now? How long are we going to keep dwelling on, you know, the idea that we're owed something, we're owed reparations, we're owed some type of compassion? They're not going to give it to you. No one's going to give it to you. I don't care how moral your argument is or how articulate that argument is. Nobody owes you more than you owe yourself. And you need to rid your mind of any idea that you know promotes that weakness of a handout. Stand up and let's take control of our own situation. It's not impossible. And our enemies know it. Like you said, you would think that the police would be behind something like this. But see, you have to understand that our enemies know what the remedy is to our situation. It's self-sufficiency, self-sustaining, you know, unity, Black power. That's the remedy. But those things automatically unemploy a lot of people. There's a lot of there are whole industries that are founded upon our dysfunction. What are these people gonna do when we stop selling their dope? When we're not in their jails? You know what I'm saying? When we start educating our children in a meaningful manner, when we begin to educate our children to go out and bring back whatever they can earn through their skills and through their talents and bring it back to our communities to fix it. You know what I'm saying? Right now, the mindset of our people is escape. That's our mindset. Success is defined as how quickly we can escape and how far we can get away. But you have to understand, as long as the system is set up to allow only so few of you to escape at any particular time anyway. So it can't trap all of us. You know, they have to let some of us get the degrees. They got to let some of us break those barriers, because if they didn't, we would see it for what it is. We would see it on its face for exactly what it is. And that mindset that success for Black people is to get away from Black people is a big part of the problem. We have to start beginning to educate our children and tell them, listen, that's why we say race first. Your responsibility is to your community, your talents, your ability, any resources, anything that you can create. Come back and let's restore our communities. Because when you have that mind, you by running off, you forget that there's a whole system that is created and engineered your communities the way that they are. And so the most talented of us, the most ingenious, or, you know, the ones who have the ingenuity and whatever, they run off and they bring their skills. And right now, success for Black people is defined as how much education you can get, going to school to get you a good education, to make yourself a more desirable commodity so you can go off and assimilate into a society that oppresses you, that oppresses your people. You know what I'm saying? So when you gain a certain measure of individual success, you look at it like, well, I made it out, and kudos for that. But you have to understand there's a whole system that's designed to keep the rest, the bulk of us, trapped. And I don't mean even trapped in terms of money. I'm talking about the mindset. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing inherent about Black people like that we can't overcome. You know what I'm saying? But we're being bombarded with ideas that don't serve us. We have people who rule over us who have no interest, you know what I'm saying, in our success, in our communities thriving. And we have to really, we're going to really have to change our approach and perspective on the Black community and how we deal with these issues if we ever gonna come up out of this.
I know you had a comment, but let me make this comment first, so TC.
Go ahead.
But I'm gonna let you zoom right in. One of the things that I want to say, first of all, I commend you for coming on today, because from the time when the situation with a few arrested occurred down there from your last demonstration to now, I know those. I'm trying to imagine the conversations that occurred from then to now. You exhausted. Oh, you're verbally exhausted, man. So I commend you for coming on today and still having enough courage to be able to highlight, you know, the pure intent on what you guys are doing with this looming frustration that's behind your demonstrations, or the purity of your intent. So that's hard. I probably couldn't even do it, because I get so amped up when I get pissed off that it'd take a lot to get me down. So I commend you for being able to even sit here and articulate through your frustrations about what is pure, that you want the Black people to understand. Real quick, I want to be able to for you to pitch real quick any kind of way somebody that can get involved through donations, through bringing water to a protest, to a shutdown, because you don't call it a protest, it's a shutdown. So I want you to get your information and just pitch your information throughout the show. Go ahead, you can start right now.
Well, you can always follow us online: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. At let's see, the Twitter is at new _era _Chicago. Email is info@newerashy.com. Instagram is at @newera _ Chicago. And the Facebook is just New Era Chicago. Also, the email is www.newerashy.com. And if you want to reach by phone number is 872-212-6026.
We're gonna pitch that a few times.
Yes, and any donation, anything that you can contribute, water, clothes. We do clothes drives, we do food drives, we do we number of programs. Anything that you can contribute, will be greatly appreciated, and it will be used for the betterment of our communities. I can't stress that enough, man. You know,
go ahead,
go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question. First of all, I want you to know I'm 100% behind what you're saying and what y'all doing. But you know, we got everybody listening, so we're gonna ask you them questions.
Go ahead, bro.
Okay, the first question, based off your comment, what you're saying is, you say people get themselves together, though, get the knowledge or their money, they get out the neighborhood, out the community. First of all, do you blame them for getting out the community?
No, absolutely not. I understand it. Success in our communities is dangerous. I get it. But you're gonna have to choose. You're gonna have to pick. And I know most people, self-preservation is the first law of nature. It's the first law of nature. It takes a special kind of individual to give of themselves and put, and I'm not saying that it's nothing extra special about me. I promise it's not. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, and I don't blame them to a certain degree, but I do have to give you the real. Listen, when you run off and you take your talents and your abilities and anything that you could bring to the table and you run off from your people, nobody else is coming to replace you. White, nobody's coming to replace you. Nobody has anything for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody has anything for you. If you desire a change in the Black community, it is going to have to be done by Black people. The well-being of our communities is our responsibility. You know what I'm saying? One thing that, like, the violence in Chicago that's happening right now. You talked about Willie D. I haven't seen that video. I'm gonna have to go look at it, but I'm glad he got on. I'm glad he called us out. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of hypocritical, but go ahead.
It was kind of hypocritical
to me.
Because
let's be real for a minute. I'm not saying his message wasn't, where we at, but like, as being a Black man in Chicago, let's be real for a minute, Willie D. And I said, I hope he would come on the show, because we'll ask you. We know a lot of lynchings and racist things go down there in Texas, down there where y'all come from, and where y'all at. If you want to be real about it, where y'all at? I mean, come on, you want to really go from that? To me, that's a blanket statement to put all of Chicago men in a certain way.
Well, I think he was talking. I just want to be fair with what he was saying. He was talking in the sense of respecting the men from Chicago. He was like, man, I got a lot of stand-up cats in Chicago. I know a lot of stand-up cats. A lot of y'all are real, y'all real stand-up guys, man. And he was talking about Chicago from a love standpoint, and he loved Chicago. Yeah, and it was just like, it's like being brothers from another mother, so to speak, and you figuring like, hey, what are men in Chicago? I know a lot of stand-up dudes. At least they talk that way. Where y'all at? So that was why it was significant to bring on Eric Mobley.
And you know what? I haven't seen the interview, but we need to be called out. Honestly. And you know what?
I agree.
One of the most frustrating things for me is when I hear Black men who, Black men specifically, when they see the violence and when it's on TV and when it's on, it's on display for the world to see, the best answer they can come up with is, we need more police. We need the feds. We need no.
You was gonna talk about
that is the most cowardly thing I can ever. I don't know other way to put it.
I don't want you to lose your point, because you made mention of something about the violence in Chicago. You was finna go into a point. I didn't want.
I think that's where I was about to go. I think I forgot that point, but I believe this is where I was about to go.
Go ahead.
These are your children. These are your children out here. Who caused their enemies to come and deal with their children? Now, if you don't look at these children, you don't look at these people out here that are doing this as your children, there's something wrong with you. The police, the military, nobody can fix this issue for us but us.
But when you say children now, let's
okay, go ahead.
Let's break this down. Help me understand and help my people understand. Okay, when you say but we don't look at them as our children, it's kind of hard, because our children is who we raise and put our stuff into. So when you don't raise another man's child, another woman's child, a kid, how can you actually effectively say you can look at them like one of yours? Because one of yours has your values, your home training, and you hope they're exhibiting it out there in the world. But those kids that out there, how can you feel you should, the association is kind of hard.
Well, when I speak of children, I'm speaking collectively as a race.
Okay.
As a race. I know that, not everybody around here is, my blood or my child. And I know, some of them, I believe, are just, they can't be saved. But my empathy, my compassion, my love for my people cannot just make me give up and throw them away. You know what I'm saying? I very well know and understand that, that there are people out here robbing, killing, murdering, and whatnot. Now, I'm not so loving that I'm not going to defend myself. You know what I'm saying? If you come up on me the wrong way and I got it with me, I'm going to cook you. Period. But at the same time, I understand where the dysfunction comes from. And see, when I look at my communities, when you look at your communities, then first off, understand that there's a war that's been waged upon you. Mm-hmm. That this is the result of, 300 or 400 years of slavery. Another 100 years of being economically disenfranchised. You know what I'm saying? You've torn away every hedge and every protection against certain behavior in our communities. You've broken up families. You removed the father. You shipped in dope and then declared a war on drugs. You shipped in guns. And now you want me to sit back and just sit back and say nothing while you come in and sweep up the remaining pieces. See, trust me, I hate the dysfunction, but at the same time, I understand where it comes from. You know what I'm saying? That's white supremacy. They've totally destroyed our communities, and see, they have us, the ones who haven't succumbed to it. They got us feeling like we just a little bit better. So we can't look at the situation and have empathy and understand what is happening. There's nothing more inherent about, there is nothing innate about us. Like we're just automatically violent, or we're just automatically incapable of having communities that thrive and function to benefit Black people. Listen, you cannot listen, as long as you are trying to understand the Black community from a position of coincidence and seeing how all this could randomly come together, it will never make sense. It's not until you change, you put on a different pair of glasses and understand that this is the result of a war that's being waged against you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All of these things have not come together randomly and coincidentally. When a thing is random, it looks different every time. But look at our communities all across the country. There's certain dynamics and certain things that are just the same all the time.
I want to ask you a question based on what you just said, just based on the patterns of things you just said. Mm-hmm. When it comes to the police, what would the reputation of New Era Chicago and New Era Detroit? I want to say them too, because I'm gonna be honest. Y'all appear to be the watered down version of New Era Detroit. New Era Detroit just seems much more aggressive to me. Okay. Now, for me saying that, and I don't mean watered down, because you just said something. If somebody run up in the wrong way, hey, I'm still a man. Don't come up on that. I'm trying to be positive. I'm gonna be positive, but don't misconstrue what we're doing. And I say, how would the police reputation for New Era Detroit and New Era Chicago, what would that be like in their prep room? What do you think? Because this is important. I think this is important to understand, because it could very well be a misconception. But what would the conversation be when they see the name New Era Detroit, New Era Chicago? What are they about in the eyes of police officers, to the point that the outreach from the police department has stopped? What do you think that their perception is?
That's a good question.
I would guess that they would think that we are anti-police. And because we speak a certain amount of unapologetic truth, we could probably come across that way. But I'm not anti anything. No. I'm pro-Black, I'm pro my people, I'm pro my community. At the same time, you have to understand that to a large degree, the livelihood of police is based upon a certain amount of chaos and dysfunction in our communities. We're reorienting the minds of our people. We're addressing certain issues in our people. that is tampering with a long-standing status quo. I say this all the time. White police officers do not come into the black community out of a deep desire to protect and serve. They come to hunt. They know that our communities are broken, and out of that brokenness stems a certain amount of dysfunction and chaos and trouble. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they know it and they understand it. That's what stop and frisk is about. That's why they're behind you running your plates every time they see you. This is not the act. The black community has to detach itself from this, detach its mind from this idea that the actions of police in our community has anything to do with wanting to see the community thrive. If they did, groups like ours wouldn't be opposed so much. You know what I'm saying? The institution of police has been some members. Let me clean it up. Some members of the police have been involved in hindering, stifling every meaningful movement that has ever come out of our communities, whether through surveillance or killing or murder. You know what I'm saying? Every single one. And our communities have to really take a look and examine that the rhetoric with the behavior. Stop trying to integrate the idea with the reality. Protect and serve, and you know, and but what's the reality in our communities? And you have, and let me make this one quick point. I remember I moved to Atlanta about 6 or 7 years ago. One summer I came home to visit. I came to visit, and I stayed with my mom at my mom and dad's house. And one morning I wake up and I hear all this commotion. Boom, 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 bang, bang, you know, a bunch of noise. I go outside and there's a SWAT team. They're kicking in the neighbor's door. And I sat out there and I waited. I'm watching for about 30 minutes. You know, they grab a young brother, got him out there in cuffs, and they pull him out, you know, and I'm just like, man, you know. But to listen to the conversation, it was a bunch of high-fiving going on, and, you know, but to hear the conversation of the individuals, of a bunch of like 15 or 20 white officers with machine guns in a black community. None of them live there. None of them know anybody around there. To hear their conversations is to know and understand this has nothing to do with wanting to see your community thrive. They treat this as a job. You know what I'm saying? And even some of the black officers, they have this, well, I'm just doing my job. But see, the condition of our communities is such that we can't afford to have people who are just doing their job. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If your presence, if the work that you do, if your ultimate goal in our community is not the growth and development and the transformation of the black community into something beneficial for black people, you don't need to be there, because there's always going to be more dysfunction that you can police. You know what I'm saying? Because our condition is perpetual, it's self-generating. So you'll always have a bunch of young Negroes, young black men that you can lock up. Our communities will always yield that for you. I say it is important for black people specifically to get out here and address these issues. Nobody else can save us. Nobody else has the desire to save us. Listen.
I want you to repeat, go ahead, real quick. I want you to repeat a concept. When y'all marching and doing a demonstration, you'll say something like
black love,
black unity. I want you to repeat, kind of like when you have that megaphone, and there's something that goes through you, man. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but if I'd be less than black if I didn't feel it.
You got to feel it.
I want you to kind of like share with the audience what you say on the microphone, and it's not trying to commercialize it at all, because I know y'all ain't playing, but it's just I want them to hear the words that you're saying.
Well, one of our chants or affirmations that we yell is black love, black unity, black power, race first.
Okay.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
New era, Chicago.
I can feel that, man.
And you know what?
I can feel that.
I'm telling you, we get so much love. See, you talked about What is the preparation that the police have if they about to confront us? When we out in our communities, the people love us. We ain't had one altercation with nobody from we've been in the roughest Inglewood, South Shore, Garfield Park, North Lawndale. When we out there and we talk about black love, black unity, black power, man, our people is waiting on us.
I wanted to paint that. I wanted you to say that because I wanted at least the audience to understand what's being felt even in the ears of the police officers, because it carries a thunder. I don't think we can't.
You got to see it.
You got to see it.
You can only experience.
We can't just say it and you can experience. Mm-hmm. It's a feeling, and just I'm trying to imagine myself, quote unquote, as a police officer sitting in the car, and somebody come down the street with this big microphone and they don't know what's going on yet, but they like. What's the mantra like?
Black love,
black unity, black power,
race first.
You know what I'm saying? And everybody repeating that behind them, and then that stopped them from eating their donut. Like, what's going on?
And when they see the community come outside on their porches and they throw their fists up. I'm telling you, the most wonderful feeling that I get is when we come down these blocks in these neighborhoods and them babies. Them children, I'm talking about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, they respond. It's like it's in them. And this is why I say I have no respect for these men who are talking about we need more police. We need the military. We need black men to come out here with an effective message, get out here in their communities and reach these people. And I know I'm asking a lot. You know what I'm saying? You're putting your life and your safety and well-being on the line, but ain't black children worth it? Ain't the black community worth it? If you feel they're not, okay, fine. I'm not talking to you then.
There'd be a lot of women and children out there with you.
You know what? And we get that a lot of times. And you know what? There wouldn't have to be if the men would step up and take their place. That's all I got to say about that. Yeah. When I first became a part of New Era, I was like, man, ain't no men out here. There's a few men. These women and children that are out here, that's who I'm rocking with. Them, I'm right on the front line with them. I love them to death. They got more courage. They have more concern about their communities than you do. And it's your natural position to be a protector and a provider. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the flack that we get from men is because they're being shown up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If somebody comes and knocks on your door at 3 o'clock in the morning, what type of man sends their wife down here to open the door, go check and see, or they children? Right. It's not their responsibility. They out there because you are abdicating your responsibility. So I don't want to hear nothing about they got women and children. If I had my way, I would not have them out there. I tell several sisters, we be out in Inglewood and she pull up with her kids. I'm like, sister, man, you should have stayed home. This is not. She like, man, forget that. I'm out here with you, bro. And you can, after you hear so much, you just like.
Let me ask you a question.
Whatever.
I want to ask you a question because you said a bunch of stuff right there. First of all, I want to tell you, your sacrifice makes you special. So you can't say it yourself. So we'll say it here on Jaw Jacking for you.
Thank you, bro.
Your sacrifice makes you special. That's what makes you special. Now you may not be something, sacrifice is what makes everybody who they are. I want you to pitch this one more time real quick before I ask you the next question. I want you to pitch.
Okay.
How do people get involved? How do people donate? I want you to pitch that.
Okay. New Era Chicago, we're a pro-black community organization. You can reach us on Twitter at new_era_Chicago. Email is info@newerashy.com. Instagram @new_era_Chicago. Facebook, New Era Chicago. And a website is www.newerashy.com. Phone number 872-212-6026.
Okay, my question is this. Is this. As a man, like you're saying, as a man who's conscious about his community, okay, before, I'm talking about in the moment of peaceful processing, thinking about putting a demonstration together, do you ever go to the police department first and let them know what we're doing, what we're about to do in order to create a sort of support for what you're doing. Just go to them first and say, this is what we're doing. We plan on doing this, or we going doing this. Do you do that first to make sure that you cover your bases on all potential legal attacks, or
we've never done that. We never have. I have my personal opinion on it that I won't express.
Okay.
Whether it's a smart idea to do that can potentially be up for debate. But no, we've never done that. And I personally feel like we shouldn't have to. We're not out there gangbanging, selling dope, shooting, recruiting gang members. We're talking about black love, black unity, black power, race first. I think personally, a lot of the pushback that we get back from certain individuals is because they understand that their livelihood is founded upon that dysfunction. How can there's a Dr. Amos Wilson. He said the greatest commodity any people can have is their unity. The greatest commodity. That means that has to be held in higher regard than this faulty education that they give us, in higher regard than our jobs, in higher regard than this social status, in higher regard than money. None of that matters when we are unified. There's nothing that we cannot accomplish when we're unified. And the fact that we are not unified gives rise to so much of what we see in our communities. You do not see Black people selling rice in Chinatown, selling pizza and sandwiches in Little Italy, or selling Indian dishes up there on Devon in India, their section. Not because they're racist or they hate you so much. They're unified. They know who they are, and they understand that anything that they create is going to benefit them and their children. It's going to benefit them and their children. We are the only group of people that allow everybody to come in, make a buck, have their way, behave however they want to. And it's because we are broken and fractured and divided us along so many meaningless lines that it's sad.
Two points I want to make. 2 points. TC, I'm sorry, man, because I am.
No, get your point. Get out.
2 points I want to make, because these are two perceptions that can be looked at as totally different. Mm-hmm. One of them I agree with in this regard. Mm-hmm. If you was to do it like what's the name of the shot? It was a shutdown y'all did on it started with MISS.
Misha, that hair shop
47th,
47th and right off of Cottage Road.
Now I saw the video. I saw the video of the shutdown, but I rolled past it. I didn't know where it was. I rolled past and I said, I think that's the same spot. Now the point I'm making is the Misa shutdown. I can understand not going to police about that. I can understand that. I can understand not doing no outreach because their response may not be what you need in order to be effective in what you're doing. Okay, but that goes into the perception of the reputation of New Era. Okay, that's one point. The second point is a demonstration. Going for a demonstration, I would expect to be more support from the police department for a demonstration to go cleaning up the hood. Those are two entirely different demonstrations. Now, so I guess the question is, would your approach be it couldn't be the same. I understand it couldn't be the same, but how would you go about making sure that you have the same type of supposedly respect from the police department with a demonstration that was supposed to be hood to hood, and the same respect that comes from a shutdown? Like, is that even possible? Do y'all even think that's possible? Is that
it may be possible. We operate in the parameters of the law as much as possible because we do not want that trouble. We don't want that trouble. No. So with my experience, no, we don't. I don't promote stupidity. I don't promote violence. Don't come down here trying to be a part of nothing that's reckless and just I'm not with that. And New Era is not about that. Man, I forgot the point that I was about to make. But with the shutdowns that I've been a part of, which have only been two, we didn't have any issues with the police.
No, y'all didn't.
We didn't.
Y'all had issues with hood to hood.
With the hood to hood.
Yeah. I'm like, that's backwards.
Yeah.
That is backwards to me.
Yeah. The no issues with the police. We kind of had one potential issue, and it was sad, man. The gas station that we shut down over there on Independence, right? The Golo, which is on that, what's that, southeast corner on Independence and Roosevelt. There was a brother that walked up, you know, we let him know what was going on, and we asked him, like, bro, you know, we're shutting this gas station down. We explained the reason, and he said, man, he was like, we asked him, could you please go over there and shop at that other one across the street? He was like, man, I can't go over there. We at war with them over there. That hurt my heart, because here it is. Somebody that don't look like you, don't live in your community, is comfortable enough to walk in your community and snatch thousands, probably hundreds of thousands, maybe a couple million out every year. He has no fear for his own, no concern for his own safety. You live in this community, you can't go across the street. There's something wrong with that. There is something wrong with that. You killed your brother over a petty dope corner because you said he can't sell dope over here because he didn't grow up over here. He don't live over here. The dude that owned the corner store don't look like you, don't live with you, ain't got no respect for you. You let him walk away with a couple million, couple 100,000 every year. Your aggression, we got all this misplaced aggression toward each other, and our enemies, they benefit from that. What, like I said, what are they gonna do when we stop killing each other? You have to think of the black community. The dysfunction that you see in the black community is not just enough to say, oh, they need to stop killing each other. They need to stop having babies out of wedlock or whatever you can throw. You have to understand there's a $1.4 trillion economy that's up for grabs. You know what I'm saying? And it's founded upon that. The black community, the black people in this country spend $1.4 trillion every year. They spend 5 cents out of every dollar with each other, with other black businesses. That is a lot of money that is up for grabs and at stake. So you have to, the only way that people could come in and benefit and get that is if we are broken and our minds are not oriented correctly. You know what I'm saying? And you have listen, we live in a country that sends its military over to invade and occupy other countries for their resources. The black community ain't nothing but a resource. Moved collectively, we would have the 9th largest economy in the world.
Really?
Yeah. You ain't never heard that?
No.
Black people in this country, we spend 1.4 trillion every year. We spend it. That's what we spend. $1.4 trillion every year. If we moved collectively, we would be one of the most powerful in the top 10. That's
just talking about the blacks in America.
Just blacks in America. Number 9, the 9th richest country, 9th largest economy. The only way that economy is taken away from us and we're swindled out of it, tricked out of it, is because we got so much other stuff going on. We too busy killing each other. We ain't educating our children. We don't stick together. We don't work together. We at odds with each other about everything. You a Muslim, I'm a Christian, I'm a vice lord, you a GD, I'm you know what I'm saying? It's time to put that mess aside.
Yes.
That has to stop. One thing I harp on when I'm out here in the streets, I'm not a part of a street organization, never been. But when I come across street dudes and this hits home with them, I tell them the police don't treat vice lords better than they treat GDs. They don't. What you at odds with your brother about? You don't even understand why we don't even understand this. We don't understand the mindset of black men and black children and why we have this aggression. It is it's absolutely necessary. If the status quo is to be maintained, we got to kill each other. We got to stay broken and disunited and disenfranchised if the status quo is to be maintained. There's a lot up for grabs if we unify. There's a whole lot up for grabs if we unify. They can't afford to have that. So anybody who is starting to address these issues and tamper with that and start to, knock them, like make you think a little bit. They have to be marginalized and dismissed and murdered sometimes and jailed. You know what I'm saying? We have to look at it from that perspective. There's a war being waged on the Black community, and that's not an exaggeration. That's not an exaggeration. I'm not overstating the case. You got to see it for what it is.
TC, I know you want to say something, man. I'm sorry, man. Nah, man. Here.
I support. Now, what I want to ask you is, like, without getting on. It's better. It's better. There we go. What I want to ask you, without getting too far into your situation. Well, the statement I want to make is, like, as usual, when the police or then white people be mad or don't like when a Black person do, they get overzealous and they do too much. So it might be a blessing in disguise for you brothers. You know what I mean? Because they let their prejudice and stuff leak out. Video? Yeah, I saw the video. That's what I'm speaking on. Everybody check that video out.
Let their prejudice.
Yeah, because that's how I always be, man. You break it down like the brother that got choked to death over selling cigarettes because they in the prejudice, how they really feel about you. They willing to take a chance on it because they know they'll be back. So they don't like the fact you guys in a peaceful demonstration with your flags. It ain't their flag. It ain't their stuff. They not a part of it. I saw a lot of Caucasian cops out there.
I saw maybe 4.
I saw a lot. So you telling me you got
63rd and Ashland,
right?
Heart of Inglewood,
right? You got brothers out here talking about Black power, and you saying all these white cops. That's what I saw.
I saw 4 white officers, and it was they said it was probably 100 police officers out there. I mean, I saw 4 or 5 Black officers.
Right, that I saw.
100 police.
And that's what I'm looking at. You know, I can speak. Well, this is my opinion from what I saw on a public video. You know, so the fact that they were sending all that to that rally, that's automatic. That demonstration
of hood to hood.
Right, that automatically is a signal, a telltale story that they ain't come over here to maintain peace.
It should show you who. It should show you who they are.
That's a day after 7-8 people got murdered in South Shore.
Right.
That was a day after that.
8 people got killed in South Shore on the South Side. Here we are coming through talking about Black love, Black unity, Black power.
With the whole
and I saw a lot of police officers.
A lot of police officers.
I'm talking about
Saturday morning.
You come to your own conclusion. Draw
in the hood
through to its logical conclusion.
Exactly. In the hood. 63rd, you said, right?
63rd and Ashland. 63rd and Ashland.
You tell me they don't have no Black cops available?
I saw 4 or 5.
They got sent all these white cops to put race first, Black power, Black demonstration.
I want you to give your definition of power real quick.
Man.
I always love your definition of power.
Power is the ability to respond, the ability to protect and provide for, the ability to deliver a consequence. And power is the ability to respond, the ability to protect and provide for, the ability to deliver a consequence. That definition covers the whole gamut. It covers everything that Black people need to be concerned with in their communities. Not rights and equality. Not rights and equality. Saturday, when we were attacked and arrested, it wasn't who was right or who was wrong that determined whether or not we were going to go to jail. It was power. It was power. You don't pull over. When the police get behind you, you don't pull over because you have somebody behind you who is righteous or concerned with you pull over because they are powerful. And I'm telling the Black community, we need to start dealing with everybody from a position of power. We've been taught about rights and equality, being good, being, moral. And that's something that to aspire to as an individual and collectively to a certain degree. But you're not dealing with a moral enemy. You're not dealing with a moral enemy.
So what's your suggestion? If you can break it down, and if you got, I know it's hard. We want to keep it real to get everybody to get down. But we're gonna speak for that. You got the power to get everybody to get down. What would you say?
When we have the power, all of it's gonna take care of itself. See, listen. When we unify and we have a collective mindset, we're gonna educate our children around what we need to sustain ourselves. So we're gonna impart the knowledge and the wisdom in our children to sustain ourselves, to come back and make sure that we are successful. You know what I'm saying? It's not that we're incapable, it's that we're not together. We can feed ourselves. Don't tell me we can't feed ourselves if we needed to. But if they passed a law right now that said they ain't gonna feed black people in this country, instead of coming together and being about the business of feeding our people, we'd be whining and talking about, that's not right. That's not fair.
Yes.
You know, screw what's right and what's fair. Let's do what needs to be done. We're complaining about the murder that's going on in our neighborhoods, talking about we need resources. We spend $1.4 trillion a year. We don't need resources. We need discipline. We need unity. You don't need anything. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about murder and police. Listen, I've said the ability to deal with these Negroes out here in the street and the police rests in the black community's power. You're going to deal with both of them. Both of them will become a non-factor when you deal with them from a position of power. But see, unity facilitates power. And power is how you effectively deal with your enemies. Bro, I can poke you right now. That may be kind of, that may be agitating. But if I put this fist and that shoulder and throw that hip into it, and when that works together, that's more destructive. You know what I'm saying? Unity. Black love, black unity, black power, race first. That's the foundation upon which you build everything that we need.
Why do you think that?
Everything.
Why do you think that's not effective, though? Your opinion, you out here. Why do you think we don't have enough of our people on that black power, black?
Because we've been bombarded and inundated with ideas that don't mean anything, that don't matter. You know what I'm saying? The black community, like I said, the black community has been concerned with rights and equality. And I'm telling you, rights and equality don't mean anything when you come up against your enemy. You have to deal with your enemy from a position of power. Your enemy is not going to take it easy on you because you show him how immoral he is or how wrong or how bogus what he's doing to you is. You know what I'm saying?
And how you tie that, the definition of power in the need to establish power in what you just said. It's not about dealing with people from equality, but the way you're saying, well, we need power.
You need power. You have to be able to deliver a consequence for certain behaviors. I put up a post today earlier. The lion thinks he's hungry. And he always thinks he's hungry until he gets hit with one of those horns from the buffalo. Then he ain't hungry no more. He's not hungry no more. And see, we've been concerned in the black community. We've been concerned too long with changing the mind of our people, of our enemies. And I'm saying, stop trying to change his mind. Make sure that there are some consequences for his behavior. He will change his own mind. He will change his own mind. Everything that we've ever done has been very weak and passive and timid. And I know it may have been, it may have been all that we could do for those times. But man, the new thing is black power.
Real quick, man. I want you to plug in your hood to hood programs. All the programs, people have an option to get involved. Right following that, I want you to plug how everybody get in contact with you.
Okay. My favorite program, hood to hood, by far, is where we go out in the community. We knock on doors. We greet and engage our people. We out there spreading a message of black love, black unity, black power, race first. We got people on bullhorns, megaphones. It is the most wonderful thing. I mean, after every demonstration, man, I'm tired and I am energized at the same time. Because to see your people come out and respond to you and they blowing their horns and they like, yeah, this is what's needed. This is what's necessary. You know what I'm saying? That's the most wonderful feeling ever. That's the hood to hood program. We go in different neighborhoods. We knock on doors. We pass out literature and resources. and whatnot, and we just engage our people and love on our people. Listen, our people are not used to seeing nobody give a damn, really. You know what I'm saying? Huey P. Newton said that people learn through observation and participation, right? So if you see, for the most part, you see black men unconcerned with the condition of their communities, unconcerned with the mindset, have no concern for whatever is going on. You observe that, you become complacent, and you just fall in line. You participate in that. But when you see a group of people that actually care and they coming through and they mean it, they learn through observation and then participation. People need to see it. That's why we call it a demonstration. It needs to be demonstrated. You know what I'm saying? We have people that have never seen anything like this, but when we came through the block doing what we're doing, it's like, man, I want to be a part of this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just that.
What's another program?
Rakia's Ride. Rakia's Ride is an outreach program where we go out. It's in honor of Rakia Boyd, the young lady. She was shot by a police officer, I think back in 2012. It's where we go out on the trains or we post up on a busy intersection and we feed our people out of our pockets and through donations. You know what I'm saying? It's just something, and it just proves that there's nothing that we did. We fed probably 5,500 people this winter. Every other weekend we would go out. Every other weekend we go out and we feed people, giving out about 500 meals, maybe 400 meals every weekend. This is what we were doing out of a dedication and a love for our people. You know what I'm saying? Spending out of our pockets oftentimes, most times. Don't tell me that the black community can't feed themselves if they don't come together.
Okay.
Were you about to
real quick? Yeah, real quick. The rest of the
programs.
Yeah, just real quick.
The other program is okay. The other program is Streets is Watching. It's a community program. We're out in Inglewood, patrolling the communities, engaging our people, being a deterrent to the violence. Not something extra special, just something that we decided to do. Not something that you can't do. Not something that you can't be a part of. Hood to Hood, Rakia's Ride, Streets is Watching. I think that's it.
Okay, now plug how to get in contact with you and how to
We are New Era Chicago, pro-black community organization, unapologetically pro-black. We just love on our people. Our goal is to transform black communities into something beneficial for black people. You want to get in contact with us. Twitter is at new_era_Chicago. Instagram at new_era_Chicago. Facebook, New Era Chicago. Website, www.newerashy.com. Phone number, 872-212-6026.
Thanks for listening to George Acton with Bob and TC on IntellectualRadio.com with our special guest, Eric Mobley from New Era Chicago. And we will see you next week. Deuces, everybody. Peace and black ties.